Last in Line Nation, hey, welcome to another great episode of our Project 222 series, stories from the ex-college athlete for the current college athlete. And you know how we do this. It's going to be all about faith, all about the journey that these athletes take, and the pressures and the weights that are on them, some of the distractions. But we're going to unplug these guys from their everyday lives, and we're going to have them talk about their faith journey as an athlete. And this is all directed to those guys and girls now who are having that journey themselves. And it's a struggle to balance sometimes that faith, but these guys figured it out. And so I've got a great guest today, Chip Baker from the Success Chronicles. And as a lot of you know, Chip has been an educator, fourth generation educator, and he's in his 22nd year of teaching, was a coach at one point, played football in college at West Texas A&M, became a school teacher and a coach, and now he just teaches and does a little bit of a few other things. So he's an author, he's a speaker, he is a podcaster, a YouTuber. This guy's an encourager. He's created curriculum to help people grow and just become better versions of themselves. And he's authored 5 books. And the one behind me, Rock Solid, I'm pleasure and honored to say he and I co-authored this one,
Let's go.
partnered with FCA and created some resources. And this guy, I mean, it's great to be on a project with him. His most recent book also is called The Impact of Influence, which you probably have heard of, and he's currently book touring now and just came back from Salt Lake City, and he's got a handful of other cities he's going to tour with this book, promoting it. But hey, more importantly, close friend of mine, and I'm happy to have him on the show. Chip, welcome to the show, man.
Sure, man. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be on. And I was hearing you talk about the bio and everything. I was like, man, who is that guy?
Who is he?
I need to
Who is
meet
he?
him.
I don't recognize
Yeah,
him.
but no, that's awesome, man. Truly been blessed. Um, Very fortunate. Uh, Truly grateful for the opportunities that the big man has given me to just be a blessing. And that's what I've strived to do in my life. And that's all I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obvious. It comes out. It's genuine. You won't find a more authentic guy, audience. So you're watching this, and hopefully, you're a college athlete, and hopefully,
Yeah,
you have got a pen and paper,
let's
because
go.
there's going to be some gold. There's going to be
Let's
some
go.
life changing moments in these next few minutes here. And so, Chip, man, I want to dive in and get to know you from that side of the desk, really,
Yeah,
so to
yeah,
speak. The college athlete, the faith guy. You've been a guy walking with the Lord for, I would say your whole life
yeah.
practically. You were raised in the church.
Yes.
So, man, talk about a couple of maybe some impactful leaders or mentors that made an influence in your life early in that athletic career, and the value of that.
Well, I think first off, it starts at the house. And so I want to make sure that I honor my family by mentioning them.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised in the church. We were in
Mm-hmm.
church from can till can't,
Mm-hmm.
man. And so the reason for that is because my mother was the minister of music at our churches, growing up. And so, if there was something going on, we had to be there. But, all I know is growing up, um, we did church. And then I was in a community. I grew up in a community where there were a lot of positive role models, teachers, coaches, community members, um, that just did the right things, helped, and was church based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's good, and you're right. It does start there, but as we both know, uh, it isn't always that easy, right? Or
No,
that isn't always available to everybody to have that good, solid foundation in the home before these guys go to college. And man,
yeah,
it's hard enough to go
yeah,
to college as a Christian, but without that faith foundation. So anybody along the way, athletically, as you went through, coaches, of course. But
Yeah.
what was the impact, and what kind of made them stand out to you?
I think the love is what stood out for me. I think, this is, and I don't know if you connected with Terrence Price yet, but if you haven't, we got to connect you.
Right.
But he tells a story. He's one of the co-authors in the Impact of Influence, and he tells a story. He grew up small town, kind of close to where I'm from. We didn't know each other, but we met later because he was an FCA guy. He tells a
Mm,
story about his grandmother telling him, you know, baby, you got to make sure that by how you carry yourself and how you act, you
mm,
let people see the God in you, right?
mm,
And so, like, because sometimes that may be the only God that people see,
right.
and so I think they show me by their actions, uh, yes, saying some things, but by their actions they show love, and those
Mm.
are godly. Love is a godly principle, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, without a doubt. Those people that come alongside you, and especially as a college kid, man, if you have figured out that someone's genuinely concerned
Oh
about you and
man.
cares about your well-being, and it's not about them,
Oh
man,
man.
college, these athletes, they latch on and buy into that right away. And rightly so. We do as adults, right?
This is a funny story. So when I went on my recruiting trip, my host that showed me around, like he was a mentor to me. He was an older
Wow.
player. He's still a mentor. He's the head coach at Kuntz High School. I'm actually going to speak at his athletic banquet on Thursday.
Full circle,
Full circle, man. And
man.
so, in another story, like the first positive role model, older guy that I saw that had played and was coaching on the campus.
Mhm.
Um, he lives in Houston. I'm still in contact with him. His family, my family went to the beach, like
Mm,
a few months ago. Like,
yeah.
like all of those things, like you're building, um, just like you say, your faith foundation, your relationship foundation.
Yeah.
Like those are things that you're going to stand on for the rest of your life. And I can tell you that
Mhm.
because like I'm still in contact with those people today. Great relationships.
Yeah. No, and when they're done right, like you said, they stand
Yeah,
the test of time and they
yeah,
last. And look at that. Look where you are now. So, man, I mean, we could go on for hours about some of the things that these athletes are dealing
yeah,
with on campus, right?
yeah,
Within their athletic environments of
yeah,
teammates and those things. And even if they are walking this faith life, and even if they are solid in their foundation, man, there's going to be some pulls, right? Like there's going to
for
be some
sure,
vacuums
for
that you got
sure.
to be cognizant of, intentional about avoiding. What's a big challenge that you've seen, that you faced? Like, what's a
Yeah.
challenge as an athlete? Is it different than just a non-athletic, scholastic college student? I mean, it's got to be a little different. So what are unique challenges that these athletes are facing?
I think the rigor of being a college athlete is is tremendous. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like people say, "Oh, you got a scholarship." No, bro. I'm working my tail off for this
Mm.
for this scholarship. Like it is like you don't understand. Like it's all the time.
Yeah.
It's business,
Yeah.
and nobody cares if you don't. Like next, or you can't do. Oh, next person will.
Right. Right.
Everybody is all this, all that. High school, you might get injured or something, and you might be able to get your position back the next week or whatever. Like college, man,
Yeah.
but your arm is dangling. I don't know. Tape it up. I ain't coming out.
No.
I might not ever see the field again.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so just those pressures, the pressures of being competitive on a high level, um, the pressures to be the best version of yourself, but that's in the classroom and on the field. It's the best of the best.
Mm.
um, being in different environments where, you haven't been raised, you're out of your comfort zone. All of those people from all over the world,
Yep.
you're coming together. But then all of that, though, there's beauty in all of that as well because you can learn so much
Mm-hmm.
from that experience. And that's what I loved about the college atmosphere. I wish we could bring the college atmosphere to the world,
Yeah.
because like nobody cares about like your skin tone or how you know, like none of that matters. We're all broke. We're all here trying to figure it out.
It's like a
Doing.
buffet. It's like a buffet of life skills. Like all the
Oh
things are there.
my
All is
gosh.
present, right?
Yeah, and we all have to have. I want to go back a little bit too. You talked about, our foundation of faith.
Mm,
Even though I had a foundation of faith, that doesn't guarantee me to be a great
mm.
Christian. You know
Nope.
what I'm saying? Because I have to have my own firsthand faith experience when I'm on my own. Like I'm gonna go down south. Mama and them,
Yes.
mama and them can
Yes.
teach you some things,
Yeah.
about faith and drag you to church and make you do all of those things. But like when you get out on your own, you have to have your own firsthand faith experience. And that's kind of what it was for me. I
Yeah.
got there and I was made to go to church as a kid, like church
Drug
again,
problem, right?
yeah,
Drug problem. Yeah.
drug to church everywhere, yeah, drug to all of those places, you know, a church again, we just went yesterday.
Yeah.
We was there all day in the same clothes,
Right, right.
you know, but man, and I got to college, and like I said, the rigor of the schedule, we're playing on Saturdays. Sometimes when we get home late on a Saturday or Sunday morning, uh, and I'm like, what? I don't have to go to church, like
Right.
what? There's nobody here making me go to church, Oh, yeah, I'm good, But then as you as you do that for a little while, for me it was a void, something felt missing, you know, and like those leaders, like I talked to you about the guys that I'm connected with. There's another guy. We both played linebacker. I'm still connected with him today. He came to the book tour in Dallas. He always supports me. He's a police officer, detective now.
Hmm.
He and we play linebacker together. We made a pact. Man, we going to church.
There it is. That's it.
And so also I got connected with some people on the campus that did like church organization things, and so it all stems from relationships. This
Yeah.
quote from a former pastor: "Our life moves at the speed of our relationships," and those key relationships that I was blessed to have in my life. And we have to be intentional about putting ourselves around people that
Uh-oh.
are making good
Uh-oh.
decisions.
Do we? Are you sure?
And
We got
so
to be intentional.
and
Okay.
you got, as a college athlete, is I think that's probably the biggest thing
Biggest, yeah.
that you have to do, is because you can be in, like, everybody's doing everything in those environments.
You got every brand. If you want to find it, you can find it, right?
Yeah, man. And so you have to be intentional about putting yourself around people that are doing great things that you can learn from, right? That
Mhm.
you can stretch yourself to help you be the best version of yourself. And so, I'll give you an example of that is, like, when I went to college, I had done some things. I was able to do some things, but like I'm in the weight room and I'm looking at these guys, like they doing a lot of stuff here. They moving some weight,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so like I can either say, hey, I'm gonna try it, put it on there, help me out, or I can run from it. I ain't running from it. I'm gonna get on it and get better. And then once you get under there, you get on, you surprise yourself like, oh yeah, well, let's go. Like, and that's how everything is in life. And you have to put yourself in environments where people that are pushing themselves, people that are doing things the right way, and that allows you to grow in all areas of your life.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, that was class could be just dismissed at this point because that
Let's
was
go.
major. That was major. When you said intentionally seeking out the right relationships, man, that I mean that it right there is enough. If someone just
Yeah.
grabbed onto that, man, that can be a life changer. There's just a lot going on these in these
Yeah.
environments. I wasn't a college athlete, but I was around a lot of them, and my sons are, and I
Yeah.
watched. Like you talked about being drugged to church, like we made sure we were intentional about raising them in church, right? But you
Hmm.
said you've got to take ownership of your faith on your own when you leave
Yeah.
the nest, right? You can't depend on anybody, and it's got to be in you, and you've got to want that.
Yeah.
But again, it's not a perfection scale. It's a progress scale. And you just
Yes.
have to find those people of accountability that are going through the same things,
Yeah.
that are experiencing the same temptations, but then you call them at midnight and go, hey, I really want to go over here. They're inviting me over here. They're like, no, let's not. Hey, come over here. We'll hang out. We'll just chop it up or whatever. But you got to have those positive, right? The iron sharpening iron.
Right. And there's a balance in there. I mean, like, you want to experience life because that's how you learn. That's how you learn. Hey, don't do that. I need to do more of this. You want to experience life and meet people and learn, and don't have a fear of failing. I mean, like, because from your biggest blessings come from your biggest lessons.
Right. Good.
And so it's important to experience those things, but then also have the key awareness to learn from those things as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not that you maybe had a lightning bolt, come down and God audibly speak to you in college, but surely there was one of those moments that call it a defining moment, call it just an aha, the light went on, like along the lines of your faith. Did you have, or did you observe like that moment for you or for somebody where you thought, ooh, my faith is real. Ooh, it is in me, or I had to make a decision. Is there a moment that you can share that the audience might be able to take something from?
I think for me, I don't know that it was in reflecting, I don't know that it was like a lightning moment, but what I think it was just because I'm a consistency guy, right? I strive to have consistency. And so for me, I consistently had an inner peace about myself because I knew that I was making the right decisions to put myself in the right environment. And for me,
you wouldn't be able to say that again, would you?
I don't think so, but I'm gonna try it.
Well, I will say what I heard you say is the inner peace allowed you to enter peace.
Come
Am I
on.
right? Huh? I know you love that.
Yeah, you're right, man. I may have heard that from a guy somewhere.
Right. I knew I
Yes.
had.
Yeah. Inner peace, INNER, allows us to enter peace, ENTER.
Yes.
And so we get that inner peace by putting ourselves in environments. And this is like specifically speaking to a college athlete. But hold on, wait a minute. I don't care who you are,
Come
wherever
on.
you are, what level, whatever, kids, family, young guy, young lady, whatever age, level, stage you are in your life, if you're choosing to make the right decisions and put yourself in the right, be disciplined to put yourself in the right environment, in the right situations, around the right people that you can learn and grow from, and holding on to your firm faith principles, it gives you an inner peace about yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Because it shows you that you're disciplined enough to make yourself do those things.
Yeah.
Right. And when you do that, oh man, I think it really lights you on fire because you see the exponential growth in your life. You organically eliminated the distractions,
Right.
and great things just happen.
Yeah.
And I say just happen, but really it's not just happen. It happened because you're focused in and you eliminated all of that other stuff. I think for me, that's what I really learned through my college experience. Like, I came in with my foundation, of faith, of work, of get after it, of go get a position, right? And let me share this analogy with you. Okay, so I played linebacker, right? And on defense, we ran a 3-4 in high school. We ran a 4-3 in college, so it was a little different. But either way, each person in the defense is responsible for a gap. Right.
Let's go.
And yeah, come on, get ready. And so wherever your gap moves, offensive linemen move. They do different things. Wherever your gap, you're responsible for that gap. Right. And so looking back, the ability to be able to be in that position, what are some things that it requires? Like, just help me out here. So like I have to be physically fit. I have to be, I have to know the game. There's some things I have to have done to prepare myself to be able to be in that position, to be able to fill that gap. Right. So
Yes.
if the gap opens up as a linebacker, you better step up and fill the
Hit it.
gap, because they about to try to come kill you,
Right.
you know. And
Right.
so you have to attack it. You have to go get it. So as a college linebacker, I had to be a gap filler,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to fill the gap. Here it comes. Here it comes. So so I had to not just fill the gap for defense and take care of my responsibility, because I had people, my teammates, depending on me, right? And if I
Mm-hmm.
ain't do my
Mm-hmm.
job, then like they gonna score on us. That's
Yeah.
unacceptable,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But I also had to be a gap filler for my family.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if I don't get to that college and do what I'm supposed to do and learn what I'm supposed to learn and take care of my business, I don't get that degree so that I can get that job to make money to help my family.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I had to fill that gap as well. But then I'll take it even further. Once I got my degree and got out, there's some things that I had to grow through in my life. Single parent mom, tough things,
Mm-hmm.
growing up, seeing some people do bad, all of those. You take all those things, put it together, and you learn lessons from that. Little did I know in my career that I would be able to be a gap filler as well.
So good.
And what I
Somebody's
mean,
hearing that and somebody's walking away different today.
by that is, man, it's some kids and that I got to teach and coach that had gaps in their lives,
Uh-oh.
right? And
Oh
so I
man.
was able to step in and fill the void because of my faith-based firm foundation, because I was disciplined to do the right things in college and put myself around the right people and make the sacrifices. I've been able to fill the gap in the life of some of those kids when they
Yeah.
didn't have a father in their life, when they needed that love, when they needed to be taught faith-based principles that help them be successful in their life. I've been able to fill their gap too. So
Yeah.
man, I just been striving to be a gap filler all my life.
Hey, and I see it, man. And look at that. So, what I hear you say, and maybe I'm way off base, is some of the principles you learned on the athletic field translate into life, maybe, huh? And
And
so
life is
you had to be
sports.
physically, your physical agility, right? You had to
Yeah.
translate that into that spiritual, social, emotional
Yes.
agility and be there for somebody else. And agility means you're flexible, means
Yeah.
your utility is, you can expand your scope and you can roll with things. So yeah, man, I mean, I think the people listening to this, look, they get so tunnel vision, they get so focused on what that looks like on the field, because hey, I'm going to the league, I'm going to get it paid, like that's why I'm doing this. Well,
Yeah.
maybe that doesn't always work out for 80% of the people, so there's got to be another
Man.
reason. So gap filler to me is what I hear you say is a good reason, and that is gold. And
Thank
thanks
you.
for sharing that, man. What would you say to yourself if you were sitting across the table from you as an incoming freshman, as a football player at college, and you know what you know? Like, obviously, relationships are going to come out of your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Foundations, principles are going to come. What's one, if you could just give yourself one piece of advice that you wish someone would have said to you?
You already said them. Just because you know me, you know,
I probably do.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
You get to
you
pick
said,
one though. You get to
uh,
pick one.
you know, well, let me repeat what you said. You said the foundation and relationships, uh, and that to me is what it's all about. I would say to young Chip, uh, man, you have everything that you need within you to be successful. Just
Mm,
keep doing what you're doing and you're gonna be all right.
hmm. Oh man. Because I bet you a lot of people coming in as athletes have only really been valued because of their athleticism, right? And their talent. They've only been looked at from that lens. And I bet you they haven't heard that a lot, that says,
Man, pl-
you've already got what
yeah,
you
you're good
need.
enough. You're good
Yeah.
enough. You don't
Yeah.
need anything else. And please let me say this. I learned this lesson from my mother. Um, my mother was an educator. I'm a fourth generation educator, and you mentioned that in the intro. But at the time, I was the first athlete, to come through our family like that, right? So there was some components. She ain't care about no sports. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
growing up, boy, and she legit, she would tell me this, boy, I don't care if you touch another ball, you better get them books, right?
Oh,
And so she made sure that I was on point. Like if I was involved in something, like you're gonna give your all to it, or you ain't doing it, you ain't wasting your time. That was bred into me as my firm foundation, like
yeah.
we talked
Yeah.
about. And so that went into, and this is what I want to make sure that all athletes hear this. Like we talked about, I wanted you to make sure you heard that, it's within you. But I
Yeah.
also want you to understand this: um, athlete, you are an athlete, but that's not all you are.
Yeah.
That's not what completes you. Your faith, your what you believe in, your core principles. That's what makes you who you are. And so I'm grateful that I had the ability, awareness. I was taught that yes, sports is big and everything, but it ain't everything. Because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, bro, I can't play football for my whole life. Like
Yeah.
physically, it's not. I can't play pro football for the rest of my life. Like legit, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know. But what I can do is I can make an impact on people's lives forever
Right.
and beyond past when I'm gone. Right.
Right.
So that tells me right there, like I've got to do the things that'll be eternal. Faith. I've got to do the things that'll be eternal. My core common principles, my firm foundation.
Yeah.
I've got to do the things that's going to last forever. Relationships,
Yeah.
all of those things that you have to work on those things. Oh, but bigger than that, ooh,
Mm.
when I work on myself and strive to be the best version of myself each and every day as an athlete, I'm going to learn those lessons. I'm going to have some failures. I'm going to learn
Mm.
from them. I'm going to meet great people to help me learn from them. I'm
Yeah.
going to put myself in an environment that is conducive to growth and learning, faith-based. And then now when I leave this place, when I'm done with my sports, whatever it is, and I can go on and make a positive difference in the life of so many because of the experiences that I've been through.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, well said, well said. Man, and like you said, like athletics is what you do. An athlete is not who you
Who
are.
you are, yeah.
Like, so that's just part of it. And I think it's great because we know that the things you put in you that, like you said, have eternal value, that are intangible, they can't be taken away as quickly as
No.
a skill on the field. Like that can be taken away in a play, like the
Mm-hmm.
next play, right? So I think that's good, is the perspective you have of what you're building in you and what it means to other people down the road and beyond you. So, man, to wrap this up, to drop the gavel on this conversation, we're going to finish this up with one more question. Excuse me. So finish the sentence. I know I made an impact in the lives of my teammates because.
Because I've strived to be a gap filler. Like I said earlier, in college, I know my teammates were depending on me. So
Mm-hmm.
I needed to be the best version of myself so that I could take care of my responsibilities for them, for the people that have sacrificed for me, that allow me to be there.
Yeah.
I knew I couldn't let them down. There was kids back home looking up to me because I was a college football player.
Yeah.
Uh, so like I couldn't quit. Ain't no quit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you go make it happen.
Yeah.
And and then again, um, in my career, just filling the gap. And so my goal is, I hope that I've made an impact in the lives of many because I've just strived to do my part to help others.
Yeah. Well, what would your teammates say if they didn't know the gap filler uh, thing? What would they say if we called them up? What would would say, your ex teammates?
My hope is that they would say the same thing that I hope that you would say,
Right.
is that Chip Baker is a consistent dude.
Yeah.
You know, like you know what you're gonna get from him. You know, every time you can depend on him. I think that's what they would say.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that they would say that because like I'm intentional about that. I'm intentional about being consistent. I'm intentional about helping others. I'm intentional about all of those things that we've talked about on the interview,
Right.
about learning, being a blessing, um, having a firm faith foundation, and really not just talking about it, but more so being about it.
Yep. And it's evident. And the example you gave about your ex teammate, the other linebacker that now comes and supports you,
Yeah,
in 20 years later or whatever, like
man.
that's evidence that you made an impact in the lives of your teammates. Cause there's probably a lot more like him that you did impact. And so, dude,
Hey,
that's good.
and if you don't mind, I would love to say this. I wanna send a shout out to them guys, man, because like they don't have to continue to support me. Like every book tour
Oh yeah.
spot that I've done, I've had a college teammate come and support at least
Right there.
one.
There you
You know what I'm
go.
saying? And so like, man, as you're, doing your thing in college, like you're establishing lifelong
Wow.
relationships. And it's important to be a good person now, whatever level you are. That's college athlete, that's adult, that's
Yep.
kid, whatever. It's important to be a good person now because those things follow you throughout your whole life.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, like we talk about, this whole Project 222 revolves around 2 Timothy 2:2 that says, take what
Yeah,
I have taught you, teach it to faithful men so that they can teach others also. And what you did
love it.
was pour into somebody today that's going to allow them to pour into somebody tomorrow. So where can they get more of your resources if they need, they're at college, man, they need to just latch on to
Yeah.
something in the moment, man, to learn something, to hear from Chip. Where can they go find you?
Well, all on my social media is Chip Baker TSC, as in the Success Chronicles. So all of my social media is that, except for Twitter, and Twitter is Chip Baker 19. And yes, please go check out the positive inspiration and motivation. And I want to say this too. Like I remember going into college as a freshman, and it was lonely, man.
Yeah.
Like it was like I'm in a new place, but and I had a great upbringing. Like I was surrounded by
Right.
great people, and I had my best friend. We were roommates. You know what I'm saying? Like my college teammate in high school, because he played as well for a little bit. So
Yeah.
we were roommates, but it was still a
Still.
lonely thing because like all of this is new. I'm in a new environment. And so by the time I got to the spring, I knew a little more people. I kind of knew, okay, the story, Walmart is over here. We
Yeah.
can go eat over here. Like you kind of learn the lay of the land and the environment. And then I get to my sophomore year, then it's a little better. And now people are knowing me,
Yeah.
like those kind of things. And so as you grow, by the time, fast forward, senior year, student teaching, community, got a job, and like all of those things. So I'm saying that because I say there's growth from that lonely, dark seed
Yep.
in the soil,
Yep.
germination process.
It's good.
So you have to lay your roots, let your roots grow, your firm foundation,
Yep.
base the things that and continue to do that. Like you have what you need inside of you. Just go do that. You're
Yep.
enough.
Yep.
Can you tell
So
I'm a little
good.
passionate about that? Like,
Man, oh
like
man,
oh,
so good. It is, man. That environment can be lonely. It can be dark sometimes if
yeah,
we let it
man.
get, suck us in. But that's good encouragement. That's a good word. And man, I can't thank you enough. I know
Yeah,
you got a lot going on, man. Somebody walked away different today. Somebody's life was changed by what you said. College athlete, man, soak into this moment, soak it all in, take something from it and apply it today. And I think you'll see your life change, and then you're going to be good. If you're good for yourself, you can be good for others. And so I think that's what it's all about. So man, Chip, on behalf of the audience, thank you. He's been Chip Baker. We've been Last in Line. Be blessed.